Hello, friends, and welcome back into the Cowboys Report. Once again, folks, I am Tom Downey. You can follow me on Twitter at WhatGoingDowney. You just saw the Jerry Jones press conference. So we'll recap everything here on Zeke Elliott. We'll break down what the press conference major takeaways was. And, of course, the big thing here, let's call it what it is, guys. Zeke's holding out from the Dallas Cowboys. He is not at training camp. He is late. You can use whatever spinny words you want to use. This is a holdout. Zeke's not there. He is officially late. He is not at camp. It's a holdout, guys. Now, remember, the Cowboys thought he was going to be on the team flight. That's what they thought was going to have happen. Then he missed the conditioning test today. Then you heard from Jerry Jones himself say, Zeke's late. Now, Jerry avoided the word holdout, which is fine. But we don't have to bow down to the rigors of certain word usage here. It's a holdout. Today is the deadline to report. Now, there is no official reporting time, technically speaking. Cowboys can do it whenever they want. They have leeway there. And the Cowboys did say that although Zeke is subject to fines, Jerry was uncommitted on if they'd actually fine Zeke Elliott. Now, that first Cowboys practice is tomorrow. That is on Saturday. The two sides are discussing a contract. But until further notice, the simple course of action is assume Zeke's not going to show up tomorrow. And then on Sunday, assume he's not going to show up on Monday. Then on Monday, assume he's not going to show up. The next big timeline here, that is coming up August 6th. If Zeke is not there by that date, sacrifices a year coming up for free agency. So that is a key timeline there. Now, we will keep you updated, folks, on everything Zeke Elliott, and more importantly, just the general training camp stuff coming out of camp. So if you have not subscribed, we got over 1,000 people watching right now. I would venture to say not all of you are subscribed out there. Hit us up with that subscription. The link is in the chat. Thank you, associate producer Dylan. And, of course, you're watching on YouTube, so just hit the big red subscribe button, and we'll keep you updated on everything Cowboys training camp this offseason. Now, as I mentioned, those press conference takeaways here. Number one, Zeke is officially late. He's holding out. Call whatever word you want there. He ain't coming right now. Now, the Joneses, namely Jerry, did not commit to fining Zeke. They have not firmly decided that one way or the other. They also don't think it's a distraction. Now, with that said, we've played the, he's not a distraction game before. We played that game when he was suspended. The Cowboys said, it's not a distraction, it's fine, we're going about our business. It was pretty clear, though, that Zeke was a distraction. And not really his full fault there, but that's what happened. Now, I will make note, the best part by far of the entire press conference was when a reporter asked Jerry Jones, what does Jason Garrett need to do to keep his job in 2020? And Jerry goes, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Could you repeat that question? Reporter repeats it back to him. And he goes, I'm sorry, there's a drill here. Can't hear your next question. It was hilarious out of Jerry because he just didn't want to answer the question. I'll make note, by the way, with Jason Garrett sitting right next to him. That was pretty funny for me. And then finally, Jerry said he talked to Randy Gregory yesterday, actually, and was optimistic. Now, I got to look this up, but pretty sure Jerry's not supposed to have contact with Gregory because he's suspended. Pretty sure he's not supposed to. He also said he didn't know when Gregory was going to apply for reinstatement, although I will make note, there are reports out there that Gregory already has. So we'll figure out what's actually going on there. Knowing what happened this time last year, it took Randy forever to actually apply for reinstatement, but we had heard that he did, so we'll double check there on that front. So with Zeke officially holding out, what is your panic level at? Grade this on a scale of 1 to 10. I'm currently involved in a Twitter war because some of you are telling me it doesn't matter, which is just a textbook example of burying your head in the sand. That's what this is. It is fine to not panic. If your panic level is at a 3 or a 4, or like mine, it's kind of more in that 5 range, and I don't really get up much above. I can't remember last time I was at a 5 for a panic, above a 5. It was after the Titans lost. That's the last time I was above a 5 for a panic meter. And I guess late fourth quarter against the Rams, too, because I lost that game. But producer Brett can confirm, I was big mad after the Titans game, because I was at that game. Big mad. Anyway, big mad. You guys, if you liked me scoring then, you would have loved me after that game. But as for this, it can't be a 0 or a 1. Because that's just burying your head in the sand and pretending, there's nothing wrong. And in the end, look, if Zeke shows up tomorrow, it's not a big deal in the end. We can only operate, though, with what we know right now. Perhaps your best player, at minimum one of your 5 best players, isn't doing his job. That's kind of a big deal, guys. So I put it more at a 5 there. And in the end, no, Zeke's not going to get a ton of training camp reps. That's kind of the whole point there of having camp and having a star player. He doesn't need reps. But he needs to be here. Everybody else showed up. Everybody else showed up on time. This is a holdout. This is not standard operating procedure. Therefore, it's kind of a big deal, especially for the way the Cowboys run their offense. Now, I will make what some of you consider a hot take, but in reality, it's the truth, that Zeke is not the most important player to the Cowboys offense. But he is an important player, and one of the most important players, because of the way the Cowboys run this offense. They give Zeke the ball a ton. Now, you'll see changes with Kellen Moore in charge, and frankly, I want fewer touches for Zeke, because if you want to extend him, you can't give him the ball 400 times each and every single year. You got to cut down on those touches. If you can make it somewhere in the range of, well, maybe it's more like 300, still a lot, but now you're talking there. And for Zeke, look, we know what Stephen Jones has said, how important he is to the Cowboys offense. And for the way they run their offense, he's important. And I think, of course, who can forget, he's the best stand back in the NFL. That's a big deal for the Cowboys. So him not being in Cowboys camp, I know it might not matter that much come week 1. It is still a big deal, though. This is a holdout. You don't have to run around with your pants off screaming and crying and pretending the sky is falling, but it is a big deal. Plain and simple. Now, if Zeke holds out, what should Dallas do? Type P for pay him, T for trade him, W for wait. We'll get more of this, I'm sure, in the coming days. It's tricky for me because on one hand, and I think this is why it's not a black and white discussion here, on one hand, Zeke has a right to get paid. I mean, Travis Frederick said it himself. He's not holding it against Zeke. I think Frederick is absolutely right there. You know, Zeke is forced into this rookie contract. He can only sign for so much. He knows that running backs have a short shelf life. I don't love the way Zeke is going about this, but I'm also not going to fault Zeke for wanting to get the bag. Like, that's what we should all be doing, right? At the same time, from a Cowboys front office perspective, it's not Zeke's turn yet. Dak and Amari should come first. So it's a very difficult waiting game there. You don't want to go full-on Lev Bell. You also don't want to just throw all the money at him, then in 2 years, oh no, he's hurt and it's in trouble. So it's a very nuanced, difficult discussion there. So I don't want to present it as black and white, and maybe I haven't done the best job of that before. But I still lean more towards just from Dallas' perspective, wait him out. Don't trade him right now. Wait him out. Try and call his bluff. Super chats coming in from Jordan Thomas. I need a drink of water here. He said, Cowboys should sign Jay Ajayi, make Zeke feel the heat. Jordan, it's a great idea in principle, but here's the thing. From Zeke's camp, I think his response is going to be, okay, cool. It's Jay Ajayi, whatever. I don't think that any player out there on the Cowboys' own roster or in free agency actually makes Zeke feel the heat in the way that we would like it to. Also from Jordan Thomas, a fantastic Cowboys fan, the trend of holding out and teams caving is getting old. Maybe it's time to ice Zeke for the next 4 years and make an example. Also a good idea, I guess, in principle, but also I want to win games right now. Zeke helps me do that, no matter what the cost is. So I know it's really tiresome for fans. I get that. I really do. It is tiring to see all of these holdouts and always have to be worried about the contract situation. But remember, the players are people too. Like, these are their jobs. And yes, I get it. $2 million is more than they in theory would even need. At the same time, you want to be paid what you're worth, right? It's a very tricky, difficult conversation. And frankly, neither side's wrong. So now in terms of Jordan, you mentioned you're the free agent there, Jay Ajayi. Here's some other guys out there. It's not a great group. Alex Collins was not good last year for the Ravens, and he had issues in terms of off-the-field stuff. Chris Ivory's washed. LeGarrette Blount is washed. Alfred Morris wasn't the same guy even when he was with the Dallas Cowboys. And frankly, in terms of, I would either sign, if you're going to miss Zeke, and you know that's going to be the case there, I would either sign Jay Ajayi or just say, you know what, let's see what Mike Weber, Tony Pollard have for the first month of camp, and then we'll adjust from there. Now, if you're looking long-term, some of you want to trade Zeke, well, then you got to find a long-term replacement. Tony Pollard has upside, but I think he is not a feature back. I think he is a number 2 in a rotation. Good news is, you've got some guys that can be even more than just a number 1 in a rotation. Travis Etienne, DeAndre Swift, Jonathan Taylor, despite his workload concerns, those guys are really good. By the way, this is in no particular order. They just popped into my head. I put him on the graphic there. Eno Benjamin, sleeper, very good. J.K. Dobbins, we know he's good, especially if you watch Mike Weber. He's better than Mike Weber. Anthony McFarland had some real flashes last year. Zach Moss, had he been healthy, he would have been drafted before Tony Pollard was this past year. Najee Harris, a bit of more of a bruiser, just like A.J. Dillon, who is just a mountain of a man. Michigan wanted him at linebacker. BC said come play halfback for us, and it's been great. Cam Akers, meanwhile, talented, but stuck behind a just trash Florida State offensive line. And as it relates to the whole reason we're having this conversation right now is the holdout from Zeke. Zeke, it's very simple in terms of his value. He wants to be paid more than Todd Gurley. And that is absolutely his right, and he is absolutely worth that based on the current market. Now, I don't feel like getting today, we'll do it, I'm sure, down the road, the argument of do running backs matter and should you pay them? But if you're just operating based on the market, as I have operated for everything, for running backs, for quarterbacks, for receivers, Zeke's worth getting paid more than Todd Gurley. Just plain and simple there. Now, and again, if you missed it here earlier, we are still live. Elliott is officially late. This is a holdout. That's what this is. You can just say, it's not that he forgot or anything, that, oh, he's just not showing up yet. No, it's a holdout. Let's call it what it is then. All right. Now, Elliott didn't take the team flight like he was expected to, missed the conditioning test. Look, the Cowboys thought he was going to be here. Even if they didn't really say or show it, they're a little bit disappointed. Today, again, is the deadline to report to camp. But there is no quote-unquote official reporting time. Doesn't really matter. The Cowboys have now said Zeke's late. It's a holdout. First practice is tomorrow. The two sides are discussing a new contract. I don't know when that gets done. Maybe it gets done soon. Maybe it gets done in the middle of preseason. I'm not sure what the timeline is. Jerry and Stephen Jones said they're not going to get in the business of providing daily updates. Frankly, they don't really have a whole lot of reason to either. I don't think that makes the most sense for them. But either way here, this is the reality of what is going on right now with the Dallas Cowboys. This is a holdout. So one-word reaction, folks, to Zeke's holdout. We'll get some shout-outs here on air. Still almost got like 1,000 of you guys watching right now. Someone says pay him, which I guess technically counts here. Someone said 15 a year, all is one word. That's a unique way of getting it in there. Noah, I see you cheating in there. One-word reaction here to Zeke's holdout. Let me know what you guys think it is. Maybe you want to go with disappointing. Maybe you want to go with Jesse says legitimate. That's a good one too. David said bullshit. Iron said crap. King Time said wait. Yoshli Man says dunk. Then junk. I think that makes more sense there. He says okay. Trade. Messed up. That's 2 words, you cheater. Not worry. All spelled together, so you're cheating, but I approve of that one there. Damien says F-bomb, because we'll see if we get there. Maybe when we do some comments here, we'll see if you guys rile me up enough. Someone said beast, dang, costly, selfish, childish. Someone just said Emmett, impatient, drama, whoa. I'm not going to read that one off there, Josh, a little too far there. What, WTF, you almost got me. You almost got me there. Loyalty, pay him, all those coming in. Different question now. Is Zeke a distraction? The Cowboys said no, it's not. Type Y for yes, type N for no. Is Zeke a distraction? Let me know. I think the reality is that yes, he is. And the Cowboys, of course, are going to say no, it's not, because what else would they say? But look, we've done something around Zeke every single year he's been in the NFL. We had, which some of these have not been big deals. Don't get me wrong on that one. But, and it's not even always the Zeke's or the Cowboys' fault, but every year we do something about this. All those press conference questions were about Zeke for like the first 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever it was. I don't know what time it is anymore. I've lost track of time. But all of it, all about Zeke. It is a distraction. Now, you can make an argument that it's the media causing it, but the reality is when your star player doesn't show up for camp, it's not good. Like, it's not a good thing. I'm still in a Twitter argument right now with someone saying it doesn't matter. But it does, guys. Like, you can't just not show up to your job and think, oh, it's fine. he doesn't need to go through his reps and all that. Like, it's a really bad look at minimum. It's not good. Plain and simple. All right, guys, use hashtag Cowboys to get your questions on the show. We will do some live Q&A here. Let me know in the comments section. Use hashtag Cowboys. Producer Alicia will bring them up on screen. We'll get to them. Use that hashtag Cowboys. That is how she will find them and bring them up on the screen. Anything you guys want about the Dallas Cowboys here. Super chats, by the way, we'll make sure those get on here as well. Kilgore says, "Sup, Tom? I feel like we are best friends now. Best friend ended with Joe for me. Kilgore is my new best friend." Thank you very much for your super chats, my man. I appreciate them. Always coming in. Everyone be more like Kilgore. He's the best, all right? Thank you for the super chat, man. I appreciate it. Also, guys, keep using hashtag Cowboys. That's how Producer Alicia will find them. Otherwise, they will get lost and they will get buried. So use hashtag Cowboys. Molten Citrus with the nuclear scenario. If Zeke holds out the whole season, what do you predict the record would be? God. Over-under's 8-8. How about that? Maybe it's more like 7. I don't think it gets that far, by the way. So I know that's the nuclear scenario. I would be really upset if he sits out the entire season. I'd be very, very surprised. Over-under's 8-8. Christopher Vasquez. Do you think Jerry has the foresight to see this holdout coming, and that is why he drafted Pollard and Weber? Christopher, I don't think that the draft picks of Pollard and Weber were about replacing Zeke. I think they were far more about, okay, look, we got to cut back and we got to have backup in depth. Like, you don't want to have Zeke touching the ball 400 times this year. You wanted more specialty himself. That's where Pollard comes in. You needed running back depth. That's less about a potential holdout and more about, well, what if he gets hurt? We got to have somebody back there. And even, I think most importantly, what about in week 7 when it is 38-0 Cowboys are up? Let's make sure we're not feeding Zeke at that point and somebody else has the ball because you want to reduce Zeke's touches. Even the occasional drive in a 15-18 game, which makes no sense from a score perspective, about 24-20 game where the Cowboys are actually up. All right, from King Timo, do you think this leaks over into bad team morale? That's always a concern. I would hope the Cowboys are able to kind of put the blinders on, so to speak, and just focus in on camp. It's a concern. If it gets past that August 6th deadline, I think it could be a bad sign. But I don't think you have to panic about that quite yet if you're the Cowboys. I think it's still a little bit on the earlier side of that one. That's a good and fair question there, King. All right, next up here from Niani Angela. Hopefully I pronounced your name right there. I'm sorry if I didn't there. People acting like holdouts are new. It's just like picketing. Suppose that's a fair analogy. I wouldn't say people acting like it's new. They're acting like it's a premier player on a premier team and he's not at camp. That's a big deal for me. Now, many of you were telling me it's not a holdout yet. It's not a holdout yet. He's going to show up tomorrow. He's already in California, where the comments I had to deal with yesterday on the show. Well, all those were wrong, plain and simple, which is fine. I'm not knocking you guys too much there. But type H if it's a holdout. Because guess what this is, guys? It's a holdout. We can use whatever spin language we want of he's just late or it's not a big deal. It's a holdout, guys. And that is not good. That's not an ideal scenario. All right, Evan Rosales says, hashtag Cowboys. Oh, boy, okay. Trade Zeke for Gurley. Cowboys say no. Or trade Zeke and a second for David Johnson and Patrick Peterson. I think the Cardinals say no. I don't think that they want to give up Pat P. It's closer, though, I think, in terms of proper value there. He says, who do I want from a trade? I would need a premier back and a draft pick. That's kind of my mindset. You're not getting Saquon without giving up draft picks. That's not how the Giants are going to operate there. You could maybe get David Johnson. I'm intrigued by that idea, but you definitely be downgrading your running back, which isn't the worst thing in the world. Also, David Johnson, guys, kind of older than you might expect. All right, super chat from Destroyer Dog. Will the Cowboys win the Super Bowl without Zeke? I will go with no, with the caveat unless you got something really good back in a trade for him. If you just got picks, no. I don't think there are many NFL teams out there who could get rid of one of their top 10 best players, heck, probably top 5 best players, and win the Super Bowl. The exception there is the Patriots, because they're just different. They are the exception to every single rule in the NFL. So, no, I don't think Dallas will win the Super Bowl without Zeke Elliott. It's just not with the way the Cowboys organization is run. TKG, how long do you think Zeke will hold out for the whole season? No, I don't think he holds out for the whole season. I don't. I think he shows up before the August 6th deadline. That's my expectation. Of course, I thought he was going to show up today, or even it was going to be on the team playing, because that's what the Cowboys had said. The Cowboys thought they were going to be there. The organization was confident, and then they were wrong, so everyone else was wrong, which happens. It's the nature of the business, but I don't think he holds out into the season. Carlos, what's a contract offer for Zeke is looking for? What's the contract offer? He wants to be paid more than Todd Gurley. So that probably approaches $15 million per year. Again, Gurley right now makes $14.4, over $1 million more than Bell and David Johnson. Now, the Cowboys, in terms of the leverage battle here, I think they have more than that. I do, because they can say, Zeke, go ahead and sit out and cost yourself money and then get Lev Belled and still make less than Todd Gurley. So this is way back when. This is an older projection, but I did want to bring it up here. What I had projected for Zeke, if he was going to take a little bit more of a team-friendly contract, frankly, I think this is about the minimum. And you can still factor in his upcoming deal here, but 4 years, $60 million, which is more guaranteed than Todd Gurley, more overall money than Todd Gurley. But I think Zeke might want more like 63, 64, 65, and maybe that is where the issues are between Zeke and the Cowboys, noting full well, I don't have deep insight there because the two sides have kept it very, very quiet. Molten Citrus back again. With the new info that's from Steven and Jerry, would you expect this contract to get done during camp? If it gets done this offseason, yes. I do think there is still a chance that the Cowboys and mainly Stephen Jones play hardball, because let's not kid ourselves, guys. I've said it for months now. I think it's been over a year. Stephen Jones runs the team right now. Plain and simple. Stephen will play hardball. Stephen's the bad cop. Jerry is the good cop. Oh, by the way, those of you that wanted Mike Daniels, he is signing with the Detroit Lions. Just got the text from the source there. Sorry. All right, Leonard White. Who is more important to our offense, Dak or Zeke? Not everyone will like this. But there is one correct answer, and that is unequivocally Dak Prescott. There is zero doubt that Dak Prescott is more important to the Dallas Cowboys than Ezekiel Elliott. If Dak goes down, the season is done. They are screwed. And this is true for pretty much every NFL team out there. The quarterback is always more important than the running back. That is simply how today's offense is built. I'm not saying that Dak is a better player at his position than Zeke is at his position, because that's just not true. But I'm saying that in today's NFL, in terms of importance and most valuable players, as great as Zeke is, who is the best running back in the NFL, I think, Dak Prescott is simply more important. So who should Dallas re-sign first? Type D for Dak, Z for Zeke, and A for Amari. And this is also why Zeke is holding out. Because the Cowboys' admitted order of priority, and their right to approach it this way, has been Dak Prescott, Amari Cooper, Zeke Elliott. Now, I think they would have all gotten paid if Zeke just waited his turn, but Zeke didn't want to wait, and I get that. So, I still think Dak should be signed first, especially with Amari being willing to wait, and I also don't like the idea of Zeke kind of powering his way in and saying, I get paid first because of my holdout. That's a little bit of a dangerous precedent to set. From D's Nuts. Yeah, I know. I'm going to read it off anyway. I know what he's doing, but it's funny. So it's fine. Trade Dak, Zeke, and a first for Aaron Rodgers. Oof. It's a big-time trade package there. Notice I said package in D's Nuts. You guys are welcome. I think I might do it. I don't know if the Cowboys or the Packers would do it, though. That might be one where both sides kind of say no. Get some more Cowboys questions here from Manster54. Do you think the Eagles are dancing in the streets with this one? Well, based on what we saw in the comments section earlier today, Eagles and Giants and Patriots fans are in there, which is fine. Let them waste all the headspace on a different team. Look, the more the other team's fan base thinks about the Cowboys, that just means we're living rent-free in their heads, and that's always fun, right? Yo, Squiggly Man. I see you are a man of culture as well with these questions. Are we a Super Bowl contender if we draft Jay Ajayi? He means sign, of course, and I don't know about that one. Depends on what you actually end up doing there in the end with Zeke Elliott. He wants to know if Zeke is the Senate, and if it is treason then. Well, I think the Cowboys front office has the high ground, so the answer is no. I do not think that Zeke is the Senate, and it's not treason. I guess in this scenario, Zeke's your Palpatine. I guess Stephen Jones is Mace Windu. Ooh, and then Jerry Jones is Anakin Skywalker. Ooh, this is a good scenario, yo Squiggly Man. I like that one. And then we'll see if Anakin turns to the dark side and then cries because that scene was terrible because George Lucas couldn't write in episode 3. All right, TKG. How do you think Witten is going to do after the time off last season? Great question. I think they're high on him. I think they have high expectations for him, but I will limit my own internal ones to saying I think he can be as good as Jeff Swain was, and maybe even better. And if so, you should probably be pretty happy about that one. Omar N. Can we get Dak signed already? The Cowboys, and this is why Zeke's also holding out, they don't operate with a lot of urgency. You heard it from Stephen Jones today. It was kind of like, it'll get done when it gets done, which is fine, but also let's move. Like, the sooner you get it done, the more money you save. By the way, I did not like Jerry Jones's comments about saying the Browns and Saints don't impact the Cowboys contracts, because they do. They absolutely do. I think Jerry's wrong on that one. Rebecca Lopez. Will the Cowboys win more playoff games this year? If they don't, Jason Garrett's gone. He ain't coming back. Now, Jerry Jones definitely avoided that question by blaming it on audio that he couldn't hear. But, yeah, he has to win playoff games or else he's not coming back there. All right, guys. Make sure you are subscribed to us here on YouTube. We're going to do all kinds of camp updates for you. We'll have video coming out pretty much every single day going forward, except for the one day I'm out of town. Sorry about that. Blame my buddy Greg, who has a bachelor party. Sorry, I'm off traffic here. Anyway, training camp updates, news, rumors, fan-led content, everything you want on the Cowboys, it's all right here. We got almost 1,000 watching. I'm sure not all of you are subscribed. We are approaching 30K subscribers. Let's get it done. TL The Truth Neighborhood 0. Does Zeke actually have more leverage with everything off the field? I think that is a great point. In some cases, if Zeke was a Boy Scout off the field, I do think it would be easier for him to have leverage. But in terms of the leverage battle, I kind of think that the Cowboys actually have a little bit more. Now, if we get past that August 6th deadline, I think that might give Zeke actually more leverage because now he's like firmly dug in and entrenched. All right, Crystal Kennedy, when do you think the Cowboys will sign Amari Cooper? It will be after Michael Thomas signs and probably after Julio Jones signs. And in reality, I think it'll come in around $19 million per year. Cameron Kramer, do you think the Cowboys are underrated given they were number 15 in the power rankings? I don't know whose that was, Cameron, but to answer your question, yes, they were underrated. The entire national media narrative this year has been, well, geez, how are the Cowboys going to pay all of these young players? And yet they get ranked out of the top 10. Do you know why the Cowboys have to pay all these guys? Because they're friggin' good. That's why. The Cowboys should be viewed as a top 10 team. They made the playoffs last year. They were one of the youngest in the NFL. You can doubt the coaching staff. That's fine. I get that. But it was about as bad as it could have been from offensive play calling last year under Scott Linehan. And they still made it to the playoffs. The reasonable expectation is Dallas makes the playoffs and they push for a Super Bowl. I'm not saying they'll win it, but that is a reasonable expectation. Manster 54. What running back takes advantage of this situation? I'll go with Tony Pollard. My ordering here in terms of most likely, I will go with Tony Pollard number 1. I'll actually go Darius Jackson number 2 because he's been there longer. Number 3 and very close behind Jackson is Mike Weber, and then Jordan Shun exists. That's my update there. I think those that's kind of your order of operations there in terms of who is most likely to make a big impact there. Also, shout out you guys saying I should be coach and I should be the running back to replace Zeke. First off, I'm not good enough to be an NFL coach. Second off, if I play running back in the NFL, you guys are signing my death warrant. I will die. I am not physically able to hold up and play running back in the NFL. There's just no way. All right, guys, we'll get my Twitter handle up here on the bottom too for you. DM me on Twitter. My handle is @WhatGoingDowney. If you guys watch the entire thing, I thank you. DM me DC for life, and there is a reward. Now, I am not allowed to say what it was. I was told I could not. I'm not sure why, but the bosses says, no, you can't spoil it. There is a reward. I can't offer a hint, though. It is more than just a shout-out. So DM me on Twitter, DC for life. We'll give some future show shout-outs if you do this, but I want to reward everyone. Look, we were live here for almost an hour and a half. So DM me DC for life, guys. I appreciate that.